Is the first lesson on the rise of Islam. It'll become very on this PowerPoint. Keep in mind that it's also important to listen to what I say, as that is testable material. But the only thing that you need to actually write down is the notes on this PowerPoint. So let's begin. This is the rise of Islam. Title that as your notes. These will be due at the assigned time in class. The Islam is born out of what is known as the Arabian Peninsula, which is where we get the term Arab or Arabian horse and things of that nature. The Arabian Peninsula, as you can see right here, is a very important crossroads between Africa, Asia, and Europe. Europe is in the north, Africa in the south, and Asia in the east. So this Arabian Peninsula becomes very important with the birth of Islam. It becomes a trade center here where these three continents come together and Islam is able to spread rapidly. This is mostly a desert dwelling people. There's some fertile land, but much of the Arabian Peninsula is pretty unfertile. As you can see there in the green area, that's the Arabian Peninsula there. Saudi Arabia today, which is the Arabian Peninsula, is a very harsh and desert-like climate. The desert and town life, the people that live there are known as the Bedouins, and they're a very famous people group. They're the Arab nomads. Now, nomad means somebody that moves around, somebody that doesn't have a permanent dwelling. So they thrive in the desert. As you can see right here, they live in tents. They live in clans. A clan is a group of families, as we mentioned in previous units. And they give support to each other, so it's a group that goes from place to place. As you can see right here, they live in tents, so the tent life of the Bedouins is very important to them. You also have people that live in the Arabian Peninsula known as Arabs, and most of them settle around oases or market towns, and these oases are important because of water. The water source is very important. So they don't move as much because the water source is always there, whereas the Bedouins, they move around a lot for their livestock and for their way of life. You don't need to write this down, but as you can see here, there's a lot of trade that will exist through this area. As you can see in this map right here, the different trade networks, you don't need to write any of that down. Let's jump to Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad, in his early life, he was born around 570 AD, so that's about half a century after the birth of Christ. He's born into a powerful Meccan clan, so he's born in Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia today. He becomes a trader and marries a wealthy businesswoman named Khadija. Khadija was very wealthy, and so this provided an opportunity for Muhammad not to have to work. So because he's not working, he's able to spend a lot of time in meditation and prayer, and the birth of Islam will happen as a result of him not having to work. The birth of the movement, by age 40, he spends a lot of his time in prayer and meditation. He claims to hear Gabriel, the angel Gabriel. You have to keep in mind that Muslims, they believe in the Bible, the Old Testament that is, and they believe in a lot of the Old Testament stories. Though they don't believe in the Abrahamic covenant, they don't believe in the gospel of Christ. We'll talk about the similarities and differences later at another time, but they do believe in a lot of the same stories. So Gabriel is an important angel to the Muslims as well, and he gives Allah or gives a message from Allah to Muhammad. That's what Muhammad is going to claim. Muhammad is going to found the religion of Islam. Now, Islam, you need to write down, is submission to the will of Allah. That's what Islam means. So people that are Muslims, they submit to Allah. So as we discussed in class, Islam is a very sad religion in that it's a lot of submission. It's not a loving religion as we see with Christianity. Yes, Islam does preach a lot of peace, and there is a lot of peace there, but the idea of love, it's a very forced religion. A lot of people living in fear of that submission. Many join him and become what is called Muslims, and Muslim means one who has submitted. So Islam means submission to the will of Allah. Muslim means one who has submitted. So again, that idea of submission. The Hijra, that is going to be the turning point in Muhammad's life in Islam, because this is the time where Muhammad is going to attract a lot of followers. This will become the famous migration of Muslims to the city of Mecca, and Mecca will become very important as a place of worship, as that is the place where Islam really thrives, in the city of Mecca. So looking at Mecca, the pilgrims come to Mecca to worship at the Kaaba, an ancient shrine. The Muslims still take this journey today. It's called the Hajj. One of the five pillars of Islam, is to at some point take the Hajj, which is this pilgrimage at some point in your life, to actually visit Mecca. That's what a good Muslim will do. The Arabs associate this shrine with the Hebrew prophet Muhammad and monotheism meaning one God. Some tribes worship many gods and spirits and bring idols to the Kaaba. Some Arabs believe in one God, Allah in Arabic. So what happens here is that there's a lot of belief in spirits and different gods during the time period of Muhammad. And Muhammad really brings this new revelation that there's only one God. He really brings the people back to the Hebrew idea of monotheism. And so Islam and Judaism and Christianity are going to have a lot of similarities in that they believe in one God to worship. And so Allah is that one God, and that's the name of this God. And so at this place right here, Mecca, they believe in the same Abraham. They believe in Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. But this Abraham, they believe that this Mecca, as you can see right here, inside of this box is a meteorite that fell down from heaven and that Abraham sacrificed on and Abraham worshiped to. That's not the famous sacrifice of Abraham. We'll get to that in a minute. But as you can see right here, this black box contains a meteorite that Abraham, it is to believed in Islam that Abraham worshipped at. So as you can see here, there's a lot of paganism, a lot of different gods being worshipped, but Muhammad brings this revelation to the people that there is one God. As you can see here, the Kaaba, this is the most holy site. All Muslims point towards it in prayer. Pilgrims come to Mecca to worship at the Kaaba. This is a very important holy site, the Kaaba is. Another important holy site is the Dome of the Rock. So as you see right here, the Kaaba, that's where the meteorite fell, where Abraham worshipped, where Abraham sacrificed. But the Dome of the Rock is the oldest existing Islamic building in the world. This is believed to be where Muhammad actually rose to heaven to learn Allah's will here. So as you can see here, the Dome of the Rock is an important site as well, because they believe that Muhammad rose to heaven much as Christ did. They don't believe that Christ rose from the dead. They believe that Muhammad and Christ never died, never rose from the dead, but they believe that both of them actually went to heaven and were transcended, so to speak. Last slide here, Quran is the holy book for Muslims, and mosque is the Islamic house of worship. So those are two important terms to know as well. So thank you for watching this video. Make sure to take these notes and to get them stamped and to do well on the quiz. So please do a review of the notes and a summary. Make sure you have the big ideas on the left-hand side and then a one-sentence summary at the very end. Thank you for taking these notes. Make sure to prepare for the quiz as well, as you will need to not only take the notes but also listen to what I've said, because that will be in the quiz.